Welcome to day 27 of your acceleration program or challenge. Today we're going to continue and wrap up our conversation around the shift. You're going to get the last piece of the shift, which is called the light. Now if you remember, we started with the trigger. The trigger led us into the dark. The dark, because of all the feelings and emotions that were involved, led us into the drift. Inside of the drift, what ended up happening is we took back control and we started to shift. And inside of that shift, we saw the opportunity to lift, to change our trajectory, right? And now we find the thing that we've been looking for, the light. So I want to share a story with you. When I was part of the SWAT team, we had to do all kinds of different certifications and trainings. One of those involved the SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus. Think of a scuba diver. That's what we did, but on land, right? We had a mask, oxygen tanks, so we could go into dangerous environments and still perform what we needed to do. Whether it was smoke or drugs or anything in between, we could still do what we needed to do. And we had to get certified inside of this. So to do that, we had to go to the Phoenix Fire Department. They had a very, very big training facility. And the last exercise of the day, they had this U-shaped portion of concrete, right? And the outcome was simple. The mission was simple, was make it from one end to the other. We're like, okay, this can't be that hard, right? At least that's what I told myself. Until I got in. I got in, and for the first part, I could hunch over. And then it got smaller and smaller, and I was on my hands and knees. And then it got smaller and smaller, and I was low crawling, army crawling through this thing. Now, mind you, at this point, it is pitch black. I can't see anything. I can't hear anything other than my own breath getting faster and shallower. Right? I'm got this SCBA attached to me, this tank on my back, this mask on my face, and I'm breathing, right? But I can't see anything, and I'm trying to feel, and I don't know where I'm going. And mind you, at this point, I probably realized that I'm a little claustrophobic. So I'm going through, and then all of a sudden, there's these wires that are going across, and I can feel them. And I'm trying to make my way through them, and all of a sudden, I find myself stuck. My tank got stuck on the wires, and I can't reach behind them to grab them because it's over my tank. And so I really start to freak out, right? My breathing gets a lot faster. I'm like, oh crap, I'm going to pass out. This is not going to be a good thing. I'm going to die. And at that moment, one of the instructors lifted up a wooden panel, and light just poured into this space, right? And I looked up at him, and he's like, are you okay? And I shook my head no. And he's like, well, let me help you. And he moves the wires, tells me to move one way, then the other. He goes, okay, here's what's going to happen. You're going to go through this, you're going to go up and then down a little bit. You're going to go around the corner, and then you're going to be able to make it out on the other side. You got this. And I was like, nodded my head, yes. And so he closed it, pitch black again. But I knew where I was going, and I knew what I needed to do. And eventually I went up, I went down, I went around the corner, and I was able to see the light and then make my way out on the other side. It was such a powerful experience for me to know that I couldn't do this on my own, that I needed help. But if I followed the process and I went through the steps that I needed to go through, I would eventually make my way out. The shift is the exact same thing. How do we get from getting triggered to find the gift, the lesson at the end, the insight that will get us the result that we want? Now, the light is something really interesting because inside of here, it's not just about finding that path forward like I had to find. It's also about understanding that the lesson becomes the action. So the lesson that I've learned inside of the shift that I've been walking through with you guys is that I have a hard time giving up control. I have a hard time believing that other people have my best interest in mind, right? Now, understanding that is a good thing, but if there's no action, then what's the point of it all, right? Learning is one thing and applying is another. So how do we find the light? Again, through another series of questions. The first one being, what is the most significant revelation that you're taking away? The most significant revelation that I'm taking away is that I need to reach out to the people who care about me so that they can help me get through the things that I need to get through. So they can help me process the things that I need to process. That's the most significant revelation that I have. Now, what is the one action that you will take in the next 24 hours to shift your focus in this new direction, right? For me, it's super simple. It's understanding that right now I'm making all of these videos for you, and I can't do them on my own. I can't record them on my own. I can't edit it on my own. I can't deploy them on my own, but I have a team of people that can. So I'm going to reach out to them, and I'm going to make sure that I leverage them to get all this done. My video editor, my support staff, all the people that I need to leverage to help me get this to where it is that I need to get it. How will you know that you completed this action? Well, I'll reach out and have conversations with Paul, with Chelsea, and with Melissa about what it is that I'm doing and what specific role that they play in helping me get there. Now, what just happened? Massive shift. You notice I'm not even talking about the kid that cut me off anymore. Now I'm talking about the action that I'm going to take that's going to get me the result that I want inside of my business. And that's the power of the shift, right? Allowing us to change a trigger into not just a lesson, but an action that will ultimately propel us farther down the path of where it is that we want to go. So how am I feeling right now? I'm feeling pretty good. I know exactly what needs to happen, how it needs to happen, and who I need to leverage, where I need to let go of control to ultimately get farther along this path that I want to get down, to get the results that I want to get. And it's the same thing with you. That's what this is all about, this whole game. So today, what it is that I want you to do is very simple. I want you to finish up this shift that you started. And ultimately now the light. Answer these questions. Find that revelation, right? Find that action item. And then share that action item inside of a 2-minute video in your group. What is the action item that came out of that original trigger that you started with a few days ago? All right, you know what time it is. It's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go.